My name is Johnsy, and I am 61 years old. On the night they told me to leave the house I had paid for with 40 years of my life, the rain was falling so hard it sounded like the world itself was knocking on the door, asking to be let in, because I was no longer welcome inside. I stood in the living room, holding a cup of tea that had gone cold in my hands. The walls were still decorated with family photos, my late wife smiling in the kitchen, my son as a little boy wearing his school uniform, his first bicycle, his graduation day. Every memory looked back at me like a witness to a crime that had just been committed. My son cleared his throat. "Abu, it's better if you find another place." His wife didn't look at me. She was scrolling on her phone, pretending this was just another item on her to-do list. That was the moment I realized something painful. You can give people everything you have, and they can still decide you are an inconvenience. How I became a guest in my own home. I raised my son alone after his mother passed away. I worked 2 jobs, day shifts at a factory, night shifts as a security guard. I paid the rent, the bills, his school fees, his coaching classes, his university education. I never complained. I thought this was what a father was supposed to do. When he got married, they couldn't afford a place of their own, so I told them, "Stay with me, this is your home too." I even transferred the house to my son's name, thinking, what could be safer than trusting your own child? At first things were fine, then slowly the tone changed. "Abu, you leave the TV too loud. Abu, you should eat in your room. Abu, we need privacy." I started feeling like a tenant in the house I paid for. Still, I paid all the bills, electricity, gas, groceries, internet. My pension wasn't much, but I stretched it. I skipped buying new clothes. I stopped going out with friends. I told myself they're young, they're building a future. But one evening, the future they were building no longer included me. The night I was asked to leave, they sat me down like parents scolding a child. "We want to start our own life," my son said, avoiding my eyes. His wife added, "You're old, you need a quieter place, maybe a small room somewhere." I looked at him. The boy I once carried on my shoulders couldn't even look at my face. "Where will I go?" I asked softly. He shrugged. "You'll manage, you're strong." Strong. Funny how strength is always demanded from the person being hurt. That night I packed a small bag. I didn't cry in front of them. I walked out into the rain and sat on a bench near the bus stop. The house lights were on behind me. My home, now someone else's comfort. The notice they didn't expect. What my son and his wife didn't know was this. Before transferring the house to his name, I had kept a legal condition. The property was to be mine to live in for my lifetime. It was written clearly in the documents. I had done it on the advice of an old lawyer friend who once told me, "Never give away your security completely, even to your own blood." I didn't want revenge. I wanted dignity. The next morning I went to a lawyer. My hands were shaking, not from anger but from heartbreak. We sent them a formal legal notice. Not to punish them, but to remind them, respect is not optional. Their reaction. When the notice arrived, my son came running to the small room I had rented for the night. His face was pale. "Abu, you sent a notice, to your own son." I looked at him calmly. "You threw your own father out of his home. This is just paper. What you did was much heavier." His wife stood behind him, silent now. For the first time they looked scared, not of me but of consequences. The turning point. That evening my son cried. I hadn't seen him cry since he was a child. "I didn't think it would hurt you this much," he said. That sentence broke me more than the eviction, because it meant he hadn't thought of my feelings at all. I told him, "I don't want your house, I want your respect. I want to feel like your father again, not your burden." They invited me back. But something inside me had changed. I agreed to return, not as a dependent but with boundaries. I stopped paying all the bills. I kept my pension for myself. I set rules, mutual respect, shared responsibilities, dignity. Slowly the house felt less cold. What I learned at 61. I am Johnsy, 61 years old, and here is what life taught me too late. Love should not mean self-erasure. Sacrifice should not become silent suffering. Even parents deserve boundaries. Children must be taught gratitude, not through words but through consequences. Moral of the story: never give away your dignity in the name of love. Kindness without boundaries teaches people to take you for granted. Respect is the foundation of family. Without it, even blood becomes strangers.